Hi there, Mrs. D here. I want to talk to you a little bit about academic integrity. So, as I'm sure you have probably seen as you've navigated through the information for our courses, you will note that FLVS takes academic integrity very, very seriously. We want to be sure that anything that you put down as your words are truly your words, because this is how we can tell what you understand and to what level you're able to apply it. So a lot of students ask, what are academic integrity issues? Probably the most common one is copying word for word. Now, this is a little bit of a tough one because when you are in elementary school, right, a lot of times you're given a book and a worksheet and you're asked to read the book and answer the questions. And most of us are kind of trained to copy the sentences from the book onto the worksheet. Well, that might be a good way to start to learn how to write, and it might be a really good way to start to learn how to spell, but it's not a good way to assess really how you interpret that answer. But because we are in elementary school, our brains are not yet prepared to do that as well. So that's not expected of us. But now that you are in high school, and you may or may not be advancing your education, it becomes very important for you to realize that when you are asked a question, you must put everything in your own words. Here at FLVS, we never ever want you to copy anything word for word from anywhere, at any time, or any place. So, the way to resolve that, or the way to prevent getting your assignments flagged for academic integrity, is to paraphrase. Paraphrasing is when you put things in your own words. Yes, you can quote sometimes because, as I'm sure you'll note, there are some times that a quote just kind of says everything that you wanted to say. And you can do that provided you put the sentence in quotation marks and then indicate where you got that quote from. Please remember that even if you do paraphrase, you must always cite your sources. The good part is you don't have to worry about MLA or APA in our science classes. All we need is a works cited page that shows the different websites that you went to and the date that you went there. That's all we need. By doing that, by paraphrasing and citing your sources, you won't ever have any AI issues. Now, it's very important that you cite your sources. As I note here for number 2, not citing your sources in a way weakens whatever case you're trying to make. It seems like you're making up the info that you're putting on there, and there's nothing there to back it up. So the best way to do that is include a works cited page so that your reader can fact check what you are saying. Even if your reader does not agree with what you are saying, if you document where you get the information from, and that is a valid source, you have now just strengthened your argument. Doesn't necessarily mean that the reader will agree with you, but at least you have now presented a valid and supported document. Not only that, but let's go to number 3. You never, ever, ever want to claim others' words as your own. That's not original, right? Anybody can repeat what somebody else has said. But the knowledgeable person will be able to explain it in their own words and come up with original examples. That's what we want you to do. If you need help doing this, please reach out to your teacher. We really, really want to help you, and we want you to get the most out of this class. Trying to skate through and copy is not going to be the way to do it. If you are caught, let me tell you what the consequences are. The first time something gets flagged for academic integrity, very often a warning is issued, which means that you will be able to redo the assignment and probably not get penalized for it. The second time, it's a little bit more serious because you now know what you did wrong, but yet you did it again. So the second time, chances are, you're probably going to be allowed to do the assignment, but you're going to receive a penalty, meaning you can probably only turn it in for about 50 to 75% credit, depending on how much you copied, and also was it on an assignment, a quiz, or a test. If it happens a third time, in all likelihood, you could be asked to take a proctored exam. You do not want to do that. The proctored exams are your segment exam. If you are required to take a proctored exam, somebody will watch you take your exam over your webcam. Not only is that going to add to the tension and nervousness, right, of taking a segment exam, have somebody sitting there watching you, but you must score a 60% or better on the segment exam to get credit for the course. If you do not score 60% or better, there are no retakes on proctored exams. So that's just a whole road we really don't want to go down. So remember, in order to avoid AI issues, right, if you are going to get some outside resources, or even if you're going to rephrase things that you saw in the textbook, remember, paraphrase. Paraphrase and cite. Remember also, you can quote, but it must be in quotation marks, and it must also indicate where you got that quote from. Make sure that you always put all examples in your own words as well. And if at all possible, and when possible, come up with your own examples. That really helps demonstrate your level of understanding. Well, if you have any questions on what is or isn't an academic integrity issue, or ways to prevent it, or if you just want to talk to your teacher to find out, just to make sure that something is not going to get flagged for academic integrity, be sure to reach out. Remember, that's what we're here for. All right, until next time, take care.